All right, so this is the PM Practice Exam 2. You are in the exam hall. We have already discussed in this class that normally, we cannot say always, normally, the section B questions tend to be time wasting. So usually don't start from there. But hopefully you are done with section A as much as you can. You spotted question 26 to 30 and you realize this is on throughput accounting. If this is one of the areas you are prepared for well enough, then it must be worth trying your hands with these 5 questions in 18 minutes. Because it's 10 marks, 1.8 minutes per mark in 18 minutes. Good exam technique for section B questions. Listen, all the 5 questions will be independent of one another. The examining team have promised that's the way they will write the questions. So it's not going to be like, because I was not able to answer question 26, I won't be able to do 27 because I need some numbers from 26 to do 27. They will not be like that. They'll be independent of one another. Maybe one of the things I want to do for the section B questions is the narrative. I probably want to get in there and see whether I can get some easy marks from there before I come back and start wasting, did I say waste? Start spending all of the time on the calculations and not getting it correct. What the company is about? What's the company about? They make 3 types of cake. The names of the cakes: brownies, muffins, cupcakes. You are giving cost, revenue, and demand for each of the 3 cakes as follows. Take note. The selling price, material cost, labor cost, overhead is all per unit. The daily demand, minimum, maximum units. So how many cakes of each to be sold? The batch size. So how many units in a batch? All right. The minimum daily demand is required for a long-term contract with a local cafe and must be met. Must be met. So with throughput accounting, we normally have bottlenecks. So must be met means that irrespective of the bottlenecks, the minimum 30 units a day, 20 units a day, and 10 units a day must be supplied to the local cafe. The cakes are made in batches using 3 sequential processes: weighing, mixing, and baking. The products must be produced in their batch sizes, but are sold as individual units. Each batch of cakes requires the following amount of time for each process. So here, the examiner is playing tricks, and I use the word advisedly. The time required for the production of the cakes is per batch. But the production is said to you, the demand is said to be units. So be very careful here. If you're going to require so much time per batch, then it means you are going to require so much time per number of units within the batch. All right, we'll get there and you understand it more. So the times are given to you. The baking stage of the process is done in 3 ovens, which can each be used for 8 hours a day, a total of 1,440 available minutes. Do I need to prove that? Not necessarily. 3 ovens. In one day, each oven can work for 8 hours. So we got all our 3 ovens working for 24 hours in the day. In terms of minutes, 24 hours times 60. That's 1,440 minutes. I don't need to prove it anyway. Sweet Trees Bakery uses throughput accounting and considers all costs other than material to be factory costs, which do not vary with production. Friends, when we studied throughput accounting, we said that is the costing method in which the only variable cost is materials, and that all other costs are considered to be fixed. And the terminology for them is factory cost. That's fixed cost. Exam technique for section B. On Monday, in addition to the baking ovens, Sweet Trees Bakery has the following process resources available. Which of the three processes, if any, is a bottleneck activity? Objective test question, drop down. Weighing, mixing, baking, there's no bottleneck. To say there's no bottleneck makes it suspect anyway. But we can also say definitely it's wrong. We got to prove it. That's question 26, the first of 5 questions. What I want to do in the exam is to see if there are some narratives that I can quickly make some quick fix on. I am doing this because I'm preparing my notes to give to you at the same time. So don't worry, you are not going through all of this drill in the exams. Question 28. Okay. Now, narratives can be quite easy in the exam sometimes. Unfortunately, most people pay attention to calculations only. At this point, I think I want us to do this narrative. Which two of the following statements will improve the throughput accounting ratio? Multiple response. The bakery has done a detailed review of its products, costs, and processes. Which two of the following statements will improve the throughput accounting ratio? You know it is return at the top divided by cost at the down. So for throughput accounting ratio to improve, the return must be improving. So sales price must be going up, material cost, which is subtracted, must be coming down. The down, costs, so factory costs must be going down. If I have those at the back of my mind, I can get a quick fix on this and score 2 marks and walk away. Remember, use the rule of elimination if possible. Which one of the following statements will improve the throughput accounting ratio? What do you want to think about? The cafe customer wants to negotiate a loyalty discount. Who is the cafe customer? The minimum daily demand is required for a long-term contract with a local cafe and must be met. This customer wants a loyalty discount. Would that improve the throughput accounting ratio or not? A discount reduces price. For throughput accounting ratio to improve, selling price must go up. So offering discounts cannot improve throughput accounting ratio, even if that means the guy will buy more. The problem we have is there are bottlenecks. So you buying more does not even solve our problems for us, because we even have some products that we are not able to meet the demand. So the cake customer wants to negotiate a loyalty discount. For me, that is a no. That cannot improve throughput accounting ratio. I've got 3 more to think about, and I'm selecting 2 out of the 3. I'm getting closer to getting it more correct. This is the exam technique. What else do you want to either eliminate or include by all means? B. By the way, is it the case probably you are speaking, I'm not here? I want to be sure about my speaker. Can somebody say hello to me? Hi, guys. Let me be sure.
Hello.
Okay, fine. You are very clear to me. Thank you for that confirmation. I wanted to be sure that you are speaking and I'm not hearing. This is a bakery making cakes. Would obtaining a bulk discount on flour and sugar, that's material, from suppliers improve the throughput accounting ratio? certainly.
That's correct.
That's material costs will go down and throughput accounting ratio will improve. 3, there is additional demand for the cupcakes in the market. Well, increasing demand does not necessarily improve your throughput accounting ratio because, look, the whole exercise about throughput accounting is to improve the speed at which you sell products in the face of bottlenecks. So if there are bottlenecks, increasing demand does not necessarily increase your throughput. Last one, the rent of the premises has been reduced for the next year. Well, rent reduction is cost reduction. Cost reduction, whether it is material cost, the only variable cost, or factory cost, all the other costs would improve throughput accounting ratio. So this is how I probably want to spend 1.5 minutes thinking through this, getting this correct, and saving the rest of the 1+ minutes to do more difficult questions. Have I selected that? Okay, let me knock off this and copy my thing into the note. Okay, this is definitely what delays me in class. I'm preparing notes at the same time as teaching. Guys, it's not easy. But it's fine. So, bulk discount on flour and sugar, rent of premises goes down. Yeah. Next one, that's a lot of detail. When I see plenty lines like this, asking me to do some calculation. Friends, highly likely, it's one of those question types where I'm either going to spend so much time and still get it incorrect, or spend so much time before getting it correct. Either way, it might not be worth doing. Start with. I'll got to come back later to it. Well, I need to be flagging things that I didn't do. Flag for review. Next. In a previous week, the weighing process was the bottleneck, and the resulting throughput accounting ratio for the bakery was 1.45. I think something is coming up. It's still not coming up here. Indicate by clicking on the relevant boxes in the table below whether each of the following statements about the throughput accounting ratio for the previous week are true or false. Oh, this is taking forever to load for me. Well, let me just be a bit more patient and see. Oh, okay. This will not happen in the exam, so don't worry. It's just about my internet at this point. Okay, let me go back and count again. I'll come back there. Question 26. On Monday, in addition to the baking ovens, Sweet Trees Bakery has the following process resources available. Which of the 3 processes, if any, is a bottleneck activity? Friends, how do you find bottleneck? Same as you did with limiting factor analysis and the marginal costing. For each of them, you're going to compare the resources available. So here, the time available with the time required. So that what did I do? This way. Now there's something I need to open up this. I want to get my font at once. Okay. for the sake of my class notes, you are not drawing table on any paper because nobody's seeing this work you are doing in the exam. I want to compare what is available with what is required. We saw the same kind of problem when we were doing limiting factor analysis and the marginal costing with the company CSC code, where we're looking at the shortage or excess of the ingredient beta, if you recall that. We got a weighing process. We got a mixing process. We got a baking process. Because nobody's seeing this work you are doing, just write your W, M, and B on paper and don't waste all of the time writing all of this on paper. Weighing requirement says we've got 240 minutes available. Mixing 180 minutes. Baking, we were told in a scenario 1,440 minutes, made up of 3 ovens, working each for 8 hours a day. That is 3 times 8, 24 hours. If you multiply by 60, that's 1,440 minutes available. Friends, look at the resource requirements. In the weighing department or the process, brownies, muffins, cupcakes require 15, 15, 20 minutes respectively for each batch of cakes. Maximum production of brownies, 140. These 140 units are produced in batch sizes of 40. So friends, how many batches of brownies will be produced to meet demand, maximum demand? How many batches of brownies? How many 40 units are in 140 units?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, why not the minimum? Because we have bottleneck here.
All right.
And there was a comment that the minimum daily demand is required for a long-term contract.
Yeah. Right. So minimum demand, maximum demand. Now, if you have bottlenecks, you don't look at your bottlenecks in line with the minimum. The minimum must be produced simply means a confirmation that that is minimum. Minimum means the smallest ever. But if I'm looking for resources that I need, I must be looking at resources that I need for maximum production. Think about that. I mean, the minimum amount of work you're going to do this morning is to weed or get a tractor to weed 1 acre of land for you. The maximum you can do in the day is to get your tractor to weed 5 acres. If you are looking for how many tractors you need, do you have to be planning around 1 acre? Plan around 5 acres and say that to do my maximum, I need 10 tractors to do the work. Before you start saying, oh, I don't have 10 tractors, so let me rather do 4 acres or 3 acres or just 1 acre because I can't get 10 tractors. Do you understand that logic?
Yes, sir.
Right. These are some of the things that makes paper PM very unique. And PM, people say it's difficult. I say it's challenging. I agree that PM is challenging. I don't agree that PM is difficult. Because some of these things, you've got to rely on your intuition to say, oh, this is what must happen. Look at the question we solved on ketone code, risk and uncertainty. I mean, it's your intuition that will tell you that if you are producing 4,000 units and demand is 3.5, well, you sell 3.5. It's not in a textbook. You sell 3, you don't sell 4,000. If you have produced 3,000, okay, if you produce 3,500 and demand is 4,000, it's your intuition that tells you that you are selling 3.5, not 4,000, because you don't have 4,000 to sell. It's not in a textbook. And so people need to take a break sometimes, go back. The exam is not life and death. If I fail this exam, it doesn't mean I'm dead, but I want to pass anyway. So it's not about getting so much afraid that your brain ceases to think about some of these logical things. Right. So I am looking at maximum demand to calculate the shortage of things that I have, resources that I have. So if maximum demand is to produce 140 units and the batch size is 40, my question is, how many batches will I produce? Why am I working that? Because the time required is quoted per batch, not per unit. So how many batches are there to produce brownies?
3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Great. Each batch requires 15 minutes in weighing, 20 minutes in mixing, and 120 minutes in baking. So what time do you require to make all those batches in weighing?
50 minutes.
Say again.
50 minutes.
60,
so
right?
When you multiply by the 3.5 here, you get 175.
Okay, so if you multiply 3.5 by 15, you 3.5 by 15, you get 52.
Is it 15 or 50?
Or you need 15 minutes for brownies. 15, 1-5.
Okay, only.
Yeah, you need 15 minutes to produce a batch. Yeah. Okay. The problem is that you are told that the cakes are made in batches. The products must be produced in their batch sizes that are sold as individual units. Now, they must be produced in their batch sizes. Then it goes on somewhere to tell you that ovens have a capacity of 1 batch per bake. So you can only produce a batch. You can't produce half a batch. You can't produce quarter of a batch. You can't produce 1/3 of a batch. You can only produce a whole batch. So 3.5 minutes, batches is actually 4 batches. Now, these are some of the things. It's actually 4 batches. So rather than say 3.5 times 15, I'm going to do 4 times 15. It's just like saying you cannot make half a car. You can only make a car or no car. So you can't build a car. You can't assemble a half a car. You can only assemble a full car. So in this case, 3.5 is approximately 4. As a matter of fact, even if I had 3.2, the 0.2 will be a whole batch setup for the oven. So although mathematicians will say 3.2 is approximately 3, I am going to say 3.2 is 4. So for brownies, I'm not doing 3.5, I'm doing 4 times 15 in weighing, and I'm doing 4 times 20 minutes in mixing, and I'm doing 4 times 120 minutes in baking. Sorry, guys. In the weighing department or process, we also need to make muffins. How many batches of muffins are we going to make? Maximum 90, batch size 30. How many 30s are in 90?
3.
3. So I'm going to do 3 batches times 15 minutes in mixing. I'm going to do 3 batches times 16 minutes in mixing. And I'm going to do 3 batches times 110 minutes in baking. How many batches will cupcakes be produced in?
5.
Great, 5. 100 units, batch size is 20, so 5. So looking at the time for cupcakes, 5 batches, each of them requires 20 minutes in weighing. 5 batches, each requires 12 minutes in mixing. 5 batches, each batch requires 120 minutes. I hope I got those numbers right. In baking. Which of the resources is our bottleneck? I guess mixing is the bottleneck. To produce maximum demand, you need 188 minutes, but you got only 180 minutes. So mixing is a bottleneck. Weighing is a non-bottleneck. Weighing is a non-bottleneck because we have available 240 when we need only 205. Baking is a non-bottleneck because we have available 1440 when we need only 1410. So friends, use this as a revision point to calculate bottlenecks. Is this same bottlenecks that we call limiting factors when we are talking about marginal costing? The same process of, is there a shortage? So it's a bottleneck or limiting factor. Or there's no shortage, so it's a non-bottleneck or a non-limiting factor, depending on whether you are speaking throughput accounting or you're speaking marginal costing language. C, need I say no? You can see that this is one typical kind of question that can waste your time in the exam. Mixing is a bottleneck. Well, exam technique, if at the end of the day, you don't have a lot of time or you don't have enough time, well, drop down and guess. Unfortunately, when we guess, we are more likely to get it incorrect than get it correct. Because 4 answers, only 1 is correct. Probability of getting it correct is 1 out of 4. Probability of getting it incorrect is 3 times that. So leaving it to chance is not the best option. All right. Exam technique, don't go answering questions like this first. All right. Next question. That's a difficult question. Now, on Wednesday, the mixing process is identified as the bottleneck process. On this day, only 120 minutes in the mixing process are available. Assuming that Sweet Treats Bakery wants to maximize profit, what is the optimal production plan for Wednesday? I've got 2 minutes on my clock, but let's see what we can do. Then we'll break in, come back. Let's remind ourselves, revision point. What do you do to get the optimal production plan? Sometimes they say optimum. Sometimes it's optimal. All is correct. In throughput account, what do we do? All right. Just like in limiting factors, we have contribution per unit of that single limiting factor. Here also we calculate return. per unit of the bottleneck. You were told on Wednesday, the mixing process is identified as a bottleneck process. So let me qualify that. Return per unit of the bottleneck will require that for each of the products, I'll work out the return, that is throughput, which is sales minus material cost. I'll work out time per batch in mixing, because I'm told that is the bottleneck. So I'm going to work out this for each of my products. What are the products? Brownies, muffins, cupcakes. I'm going to rank the products based on this calculation. Friends, I'm constrained on time. We check out and come back immediately. Then we do another round of 40 minutes. So let me see you soon, please.